Yo, this ICYTWAT and this is everything boisterous. Nah, I'm saying.
Welcome, ICYTWAT. How are you today?
Good, cool, shit. Cool.
So, let's jump into it. So, whether it's your production, for Divine Council, or, a beat that you, made for SoundCloud, it's always fire. Like, no flex, it's always fire.
Thanks.
So, like, what did you grow up listening to? Like, what was your introduction into music?
Well, I remember, like, when I was, like, a shorty and shit, like, when I was, like, probably, like under 5, I used to, like, hear a lot of Pharrell shit on the radio all the time because, he was, like, running shit back then.
Right.
And, like, that sound used to always resonate with me, but I didn't know who it was, who made it or nothing. I just, like, I really liked the sound. But when I got to, like, 6th grade, my first, like, really, like my first taste of music was, like, I fucked with Wayne heavy. Like, I was a big Wayne fan. I was a big Young Money fan and
you was like the
fan.
brown paper bag type, like that was you.
Yeah, like I fucked with like all the old Wayne shit, all the old like Drake shit, and I mean I even fucked with Nicki at the time. Like I fucked with all that shit. But then like, and I used to be on Frostwire too, like always stealing music and shit. Like that was really my first like interaction with music. And then when I got to like 7th, 8th grade, that's when I found out about Tyler and Odd Future, and like from there, like it was over with. Like those are my biggest influences is Odd Future and Tyler. Like that's what made me want to start making beats and all that shit. You feel me? So yeah, it was. Yeah.
So I see you make a tweet saying yesterday you said when in doubt, listen to Neptune's discography. So
yeah.
like, how much of an influence is like the Neptunes, to your work?
So when I started actually producing, Tyler was the only person that was my influence. So I would watch his interviews and shit, and like I would listen to his influences, and that's when I like really in depth found out about Pharrell and the Neptunes and shit like that.
Right.
Exactly, and then like when I put 2 and 2 together, I was like, oh shit, this is the shit I used to listen to when I was a shorty. Like he produced all this shit, so that's when I got into him, and then I got into Timbaland and Manny Fresh, and like those are all my producing influences. Manny Fresh, Timbaland, Pharrell. The Neptunes actually Chad and Pharrell. Fucking Tyler, Roy Ayers, shit like that. Like that was my main influences because I like melodic shit, like really smooth melodic shit, but it's still hard at the same time. You feel me? So the Neptunes and Pharrell, I definitely like number 2 on my biggest influence, but they influence my biggest influence as well. So like really they number 1, honestly. Like, you know what I'm saying? I definitely take a lot from them and mix it with my own shit.
Definitely.
Shit like
that. So what came to you naturally first? Was it being a rapper or being a producer?
Honestly, it was being a producer, but like everybody when they young and shit, like they be rapping and shit here and there.
Right.
But I didn't take it seriously. Like I wasn't sitting here like, damn, I want to really do this shit. When I only really started making beats was because I had heard Tyler's Bastard, and I used to search for all the instrumentals online because, like with Tyler, with me, like I fucked with what he was saying shit, but it was really about the sounds. Like I'm not really a word person, you feel me? I don't really care what you're saying. I just want to know what the music sound like, what the beats sound like, and his beats was fucking lit. So I used to always like I used to search for the instrumentals and I could never find them, but the only thing I could find was piano lessons of his. So that's how I taught myself how to play the piano and play beats, because I would watch all the tutorials for his albums and shit on YouTube, and then I would just remake the instrumentals, and that's how I got into production. And then it just led into my own type of shit, you feel me? So producing was always the main thing. And then 2014 is when I started really taking the rap shit seriously. And I was just like, fuck it, like, I'm just going to do it because I have all these beats that nobody really wants, but I like them, so I'm going to just make my own shit on them. And that's how I got into the rapping shit.
Dope. So I know you spoke a lot about Tyler. What's, like, your favorite Tyler song or Odd Future, collaborative song?
My favorite Tyler song would have to be Sessions and Glorious, just because those are the first 2 songs I heard, and those are the first 2 songs that, like, I just remember being like in the fucking library. I was supposed to be after school doing homework, wasn't doing shit, and like I was just sitting in the school library, just like I was actually how I found out about the songs. I was watching a video of Wiz Khalifa talk about how Lil B got knocked out. This was like that era, and he was talking about how Lil B had got knocked out on camera, and like that couldn't be him, da 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 da. And then in the corner, I had seen a thumbnail for his Bastard, and it just caught my eye, and the first thing I clicked was Sessions by Tyler, and that shit just like blew my fucking mind. And then Inglorious was the next song after that, and that shit blew my mind. So it was like a fucking domino effect from that. Everything I just fucked with, you feel me? So yeah, it was Sessions and Inglorious.
Wow. So how did you become a part of the Divine Council Collective? Because I know like some of them are from Virginia. Like I'm from Virginia, so like I knew like a little bit, you know, of them. But how did you become a part of that? You know, being that you're
well, it started in 2014. I was just sending Cyrus beats, and he actually wasn't fucking with him at the time, so I was sending it to Silk too, and Silk actually liked my shit. Me and him just started making a lot of shit, and then I think like November 2014, he was like, "Yo, you trying to be a producer for us and shit?" And I was like, "For sure, like I fuck with y'all niggas, I make good shit with y'all, why not?" And shit like that. But that's really all it was. Like I was just a producer for them niggas and shit like that, like, and that's how I started. So yeah.
Wow. So it's crazy. Like the first time, you know, I heard about you guys was through an intern assignment that I had for who I was working for earlier this year. And so I was like, you know, going through you guys like SoundCloud, you know, make sure I don't give like a, you know, a bullshit, you know, write up or whatever. And so, you know, I'm going through the songs and I seen that you did like a Rack Stacking remix for Bankroll Fresh. Did he you in like any way, or did you ever get to meet him?
Bankroll Fresh, I never got to meet him at all, but he's definitely like my top 5 rappers, like of all time, because like just I know all the people who he did influence, and his influence is crazy. You feel me? Like his range is crazy, and it's like that nigga was just so fucking amazing, and it's crazy that he died. But I made that in honor of him, and actually the co-founder of Street Money Worldwide had actually heard it and wanted me to do some shit like with some old Bankroll Fresh shit. So that was like a great opportunity too. So yeah, like that nigga is definitely an influence. I wouldn't say he an influence on me rapping wise, but like the way, because I don't, you know what I'm saying, I don't rap like Bankroll, but the way he carried himself and just how real he was and shit like that, like his attitude and just his work ethic towards the music and shit, like I that shit definitely influences me and inspires me and shit like that. So yeah,
he definitely gets a lot of respect, like always. So I see that you put out your Milk project like all the way back in like May. How long of a process like was it for you to complete the whole project? Because like you have like a lot of songs on there.
It was 2 years. It was 2 years. I actually announced it. The end of 2015, I had announced that I was working on an album called Pause. I actually announced that I was dropping an album called Milk in like mid 2016, but I had told somebody in 2015, like close to the end of 2015, that I was actually working on this album called Milk, and like I had like a bunch of like throwaway songs for it. Like I went through 4 versions of Milk before I really got to the final one that I have now. You feel me? Like I think Coolin', if you haven't heard that, like that was like the first song that I actually made for Milk, like the first rap song that I had made for Milk. And yeah, like I went through a bunch of things, and the reason it got like kind of held up because like the original Milks was featuring Lord Fubu, and me and him had gotten into some shit, like we just some odd little differences and shit. So I wasn't using any of his beats, and I just produced like most of it myself. But you know, recently me and him like patched it all up and shit, and we good and working again now. But yeah, that was really kind of like the hold up, and then like we went on tour, and it was just like a lot of shit. So like I ended up finishing Milk probably like, I swear to God, like I actually finished Milk like a couple days before it even dropped. Like I got the final mixes like literally like a day or two before it dropped. But I started working on it, like really, really putting my time into it, and fucking like I would say like March really, and I finished in May 12th.
Wow.
Or dropped in May 12th, I think. Yeah.
Wow. So, like, your beats, like, whenever I hear, like, a song from you, like, whether it's, like, the Bankroll Fresh remix or just, like, you know, stuff that you do for, like, Divine Council or just, you know, any, like, solo stuff that you do, like, it kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of, like, a mixture of, like, I don't know, like, Freaknik, Super Mario Kart, and, like, throwback, like, Nickelodeon shows, if you get what I'm saying. But
Yeah, yeah.
do you have, like, a certain process, like, when you're trying to make a beat, or do you grab inspiration from, like, anything specific?
It depends. Like I have a couple processes. Like it really depends on how I'm feeling. Like sometimes I'll go in and like or throughout the day I'll have something in my head that I'm like, damn, I need to put that down. Or sometimes I'll like go in trying to make some shit like somebody else but with my own style, you feel me? Like I make my best shit for other people, you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to myself, when I'm making some shit for myself to rap on, it's hard. Like it's a very hard process and I overthink it and shit like that. But when I'm making shit for somebody else and like I put myself in their shoes, it just comes out way easier and more fluent, you feel me? So like it depends. It really depends on like how I'm feeling. Like if I go in and like try to make some like I wouldn't say try to make something like somebody else, but I'll just put myself in their shoes and put my own steez on it, or I'll have an idea already, or like I just fuck around. Honestly, like it dead ass. It depends on how I'm feeling.
Gotcha. How do you balance like what you do as a producer on your own with like what you contribute, you know, as a group member to Divine Council? Like, how do you find that balance?
I mean, I really don't. Personally, I really don't have to find a balance because like it's whatever I feel like. You feel me? Like I move off of how I feel, and I move off of what I want to do. You feel me? Like if, it's like I don't it's no time restrictions on anything I do. It's no like I don't really. It's nothing hard that I'm doing. You feel me? I just do whatever I want to do at the moment. You feel me? So if I want to make beats for them, I'm gonna make beats for them. If I want to make beats for myself, I'm gonna make beats for myself. Like I'll run on my own time. You feel me? Whatever speed I want to work at, that's what I work at. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. So it seems like you guys give as much like effort to like your individual thing as much as you do like as a collaborative. Like, what's your ultimate goal for yourself as ICYTWAT and like for the group?
Well, I mean, for the group, I don't really have an ultimate goal for the group because again, I'm only a producer for the group. But for myself, I personally just want to be like amongst the greats. Like when fucking 20, 30 years from now, when people talk about the greatest fucking producers of the 90s and the early 2000s and shit like that, and like this new millennial, like I want to be in that category. You feel me? I want to be right next to Pharrell and to Timbaland and to, you know what I'm saying, niggas like that. Like that's really my ultimate goal, and I just want to make people feel good with my music. Like I never want people to feel bad when they're listening to something like that I'm making. You feel me? Because that shit is whack. And I think all these niggas that's rapping now is fucking whack because they all making niggas feel bad, telling niggas you should do Zans and telling niggas you should do this and that. Like that shit is whack as shit. So I personally just want to make niggas feel good, and I want them to show other people and make them feel good. And you know what I'm saying? It just move like that. You feel me? That's really my ultimate goal.
That's a lot of passion. I believe it though. I feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
So there's like two tweets that I want to ask you about, if you don't mind. So
yeah.
One tweet you said that you love black women, and then the other one says that you want to bring back 90s R&B, and you're tired of Chris Brown talking about hoes in the club.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like fucking those songs, like with the R&B shit. Like I really. I loved, and I didn't even live through those time periods, but like even like the 70s when music dead ass felt amazing, and like the 90s when music felt amazing, and love songs was literally about you being in love, whether it was you wanted your shorty back and you didn't give a fuck if you cried about wanting her back and shit like that. Like that shit felt good. But now niggas is talking about how bitches is in the club and how I got side hoes and all that shit like that. And that shit is whack as fuck, especially if you consider yourself an R&B artist. Like, that shit is just whack as fuck to me, and I don't like that shit. And I honestly don't feel like it's a lot of men R&B singers who are even promoting anything like, you know what I'm saying, like anything good or anything. Like, we have niggas like Frank Ocean and shit, but Frank Ocean can really be considered like pop and shit like that. Like, it's a lot of like, you feel me? Like we don't really have any R&B.
You put Frank in the R&B box. You put him as like pop or like, you know,
yeah,
like
exactly,
or something that's like somewhat hip hop, but not really.
Exactly. Like it's like we don't have any real R&B niggas out here really making shit for women and really making shit for niggas to really love women and shit like that. And like I know like I could be like a contradiction because I know in my music I say bitch a lot and I say like, you know what I'm saying, can't trust these hoes, da da da, shit like that, you feel me? But I also have shit where I balance it out, you feel me? These niggas don't balance it out. It's just straight fuck these bitches, fuck these hoes. We fuck with our niggas. That shit gay as hell to me, honestly. And then black women, I love black women. I don't love any other race besides black women, and that's not even me being, you know what I'm saying, racist or
right.
nothing. I just can't see myself with anything besides black women because I love black women.
Right. Do you feel like black women get enough love? Is what I was gonna ask.
They don't at all. Black women do not get enough love, and they don't get enough appreciation as they should from niggas, especially from niggas, like from black men. Like black men be on bullshit. Like you can hear it in the music. Like I don't, and you feel me? Like that shit just
I
do whack.
for sure. Yeah. Well, okay. Thanks for being honest on that one. Last but not least, what can we expect from you? You know, for the rest of the year, whether it's just like for your solo shit or with that group. And will you be attending Camp Wagner this year to see Warriors?
I'm definitely gonna be attending Camp Flawnar this year because I've never been, and that lineup is just everybody that I love. Like that nigga got Police on there, and
crazy.
like it's fucking crazy. And
Police is gonna be there, like
exactly. And me personally, like what I'm doing, I'm actually dropping a song on my birthday, which is September 3rd, and it's hard as fuck, and it's called Dream Boy, and I'm gonna drop that. And other than that, like I'm just me producing for niggas, and you know what I'm saying, I'm working on my own album, but that probably won't even drop for another like a year. So like, you know what I'm saying, so I'm just working, just making shit, you know what I'm saying, getting shit done.
So Dream Boy, you say you're dropping that September 3rd?
Yeah, September 3rd, that's my birthday, and I'm gonna drop that shit. Yeah, that shit gonna go crazy as fuck. Like,
have you told anyone about this song yet? Or
nah, not that I did. It's crazy because I haven't even finished recording it or getting it mixed. Like I'm just letting you know this now. Like nobody knows this at all besides you.
Okay, well I guess I know now. Thank you for that. Well that was pretty much all I had today. That's like I asked you enough questions. You answered them pretty honestly, and that's all I really needed.
Thank you, like again though, for the opportunity and like, you know what I'm saying, interviewing me and shit. Questions was definitely cool as fuck.
Really?
I don't get
Thank
cool
you.
questions through interviews, so
I made these questions like I'm gonna say 20 minutes till, because like I was doing some other shit and I start class back tomorrow, so I'm just like
shit. Every interviewer needs to do that shit then, because this shit was very organic and like I fuck with that shit, like very natural, like interviewing shit. So yeah,
thank
shit
you.
tight.